Okay, yes, this is going to be your short and sweet update. So, I just want to start this perspective because I think it's really significant. Um, you can see here, obviously, that we've got this big daily bullish trend that I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. Now, what happened Friday is really significant because not only did we get into these highs that I've been talking about, um, we took out the supply highs, like we took out the liquidity. You can see that right there. That's what I was expecting because we've had multiple taps of that region and it was a significant level. Therefore, you'd imagine there was some nice liquidity resting above there. What happens? You get a nice liquidity grab and you get the decent move away from there. So you've effectively formed a new supply zone right here with that. So it becomes very much of interest now. This level one, you could get a decent shorting opportunity from it, but if you're also going to break up and start closing candles above this level, it's highly significant because what you've done is you've now shifted this 4-hour bearish structure, lower lows, lower highs. You've now shifted this bearish structure completely to align with the daily bullish structure. So the 4-hour and the 4-hour and the daily would now align with each other, and you could have a lot more confidence in like upward. Obviously that's been very up for the last couple of weeks, but you've got even more confirmation now that the 4-hour and the daily now align with each other and the upward trajectory is likely to continue. So I think it's fascinating, the area of the chart we're in right now, especially because what we saw in the couple of days that happened prior to the liquidity grab. So I'm just going to quickly go over them. Just bear in mind really fast that this is a supply range that I've been talking about, and it is resistance, and when we got into that region it was very much be cautious. So I'll talk about that first. What did we see? We saw clear breaks of structure. Okay, this was, let me get that off. You saw clear breaks of structure here. We saw it here as well. Supply had stepped into the market and overwhelmed demand. Now the anticipation was that we were going to see a pullback for just another lower high, and then we were going to continue on. Okay, that was the anticipation because that's what the structure had just shown us. But what happened instead is price came up and demand had overwhelmed supply. So you've gone from a demand driven market, you've then flipped into a supply driven market, and then you've re-flipped into a demand driven market. So supply was only able to take control for this short leg of the market, this one right here. Okay, so it's clear to see that there's very much in bullish intent for prices, and there's very much interest at these levels. So I think it's very interesting to see that we could potentially be looking at a very nice opportunity today, this week, whatever, to get some longs and look for some higher prices. I think there's a good chance now, if we rotate into these lower regions, we've got a really good opportunity to get some longs in, and then we could potentially target at least this high and then maybe up into these regions up here. I think that's more than doable. So we've got a clear idea of where we want to trade and where we want to go with said trade. Obviously we're looking at this being a significant zone because it overwhelmed previous supply, so it taken control and flipped the market. So these regions are now expected to be somewhat defended, therefore we come into some prices of interest, points of interest, POIs, whatever you want to call them. If you come into these levels, then it's very much of interest for us to be looking for longs. You can look for extra confluence to refine your levels, but I'm just looking at this from a total structural perspective. Now you've got to bear in mind that there's no guarantee here, and we may get a flip. This is demand, a flip into supply, and then a flip into demand. We may even get another flip into supply. You can't rule anything out. In the time I've been doing these updates, last 4 weeks, we haven't had a flip happen so quickly on these time frames. So a third flip would be very, very interesting. So you know, this might be a wild market right now, and it might be something that is more likely or not, I don't know, but you just got to be prepared for that, and I am. So if we do start losing these lows, it becomes a lot more significant that we could have just seen a liquidity grab of these highs, and we are going to continue down. So it would be a case of we are looking for these lower regions first, and then potentially we even flush down to these lower regions here, and even the, you know, look for the 50% mark of that. You know, there's a good there's not a good chance because the probabilities lie in favor with up right now on the daily bias or the intraday bias. So if we do lose those lows, there's a good chance we do come a lot lower, you know, because you haven't really built much liquidity in this leg. It's just been straight up. But let's quickly look at a potential short opportunity. Just get rid of the, so here's your strong high that you took that liquidity out right there. You can see that you've got this 4 hour zone I've just talked about. You can see we're tapping into that now, and if we draw our fibs, you can see that in these higher regions we're looking at around probably the 886. There is a nice 15-minute zone right there. You've also got a little wick of liquidity there, so you could potentially come up, take that liquidity, grab that 15-minute, and then we could be looking for a potential nice intraday scalp on the shorts there. Nice tight invalidation, looking down for these lower regions. First target would be to take those lows, you know, because you've got a nice gap here, so you can imagine there's some liquidity rest in there, so definitely a take profit level there. And then you've got these lower regions here where you've got some nice discount and you've got some demand. So discounted demand, you want to be looking for them double Ds. These are great opportunities. The lower it comes, the more risk to reward you've got. And it's as simple as that for today. So here's the first area I'm looking for. Nice and tight. You get a 5R from just those lows there. You could even look as deep as the 50%, the 618, the 702, this first real demand. Well, I'd say this is more, yeah, you're probably looking at this region too, to be honest. You know, you've got some really nice risk to reward from that high if you do get it. Now there is things in the way, I'll talk about them really briefly, but you've also got, let me just get rid of them. You've also got a potential long setup at these lows here. You know, you could even go swing longy like that, or you could wait for your confirmations, wait for some supply to demand flips, wait for some you know, breaks in low time frame structure. That's the kind of thing you want to be looking for in these lower regions to get that confirmation. And obviously your invalidation is going to be this low here, because this is now our strong swing 15-minute low. Now our strong low effectively on the 15-minute swing range, because this is our 15-minute swing range. Sorry I'm going too quick, but I want to make these videos much faster, so I'm up in engagement with you guys. But yeah, if we break above these highs, I'm looking up to that. I'm looking up to this level up here pretty much. And yeah, I'd really like a short down into these levels. Nice tight invalidation, super easy. You've got some nice levels on the day to be looking at. You've got the London, the Asia highs. You've got that coming in around the 618. Is that? Yeah, you got that coming in around the 618, the 50% mark, and the 618 above around the CME open. You've got previous day points of control around that 15-minute block I talked about right there. So you know there's a nice chunk of volume right there. Definitely an area to be watching. Coming down, you've got that VWAP close there. You've got the previous day EQ around that other little demand zone. You've got the previous day value area low coming in around this other demand zone, and you've got a time point of control even deeper around the further areas of demand. You know, you've got this little range here, which is basically the origin point of that move where you broke structure. So this becomes a very much a strong area in my mind. And if you lose that, it becomes very significant. Yeah, that's it. Super quick and simple. not even gonna bother. Look for your entries. So the long's harder. You get a nice easy limit short here, I think, if you've got a nice tight validation up the top. But this one's going to be a lot trickier. This one's the market's going to have to show you. So yeah, good luck.